All right, welcome back to Series 38. We're in Waycraft, which is Leviticus chapter 19. We're going to begin at verse 3. Each one of you should fear his mother and his father and guard my Sabbaths. I am, we have the name of God right there, your Elohim. All right, so this is key here. It has mother first. So mothers, they are important. They give birth, right? Mothers, you also have mothers and fathers as well. So this applies to you too, daughters too, granddaughters, all the way down. All right, you want to honor all of them. All right, and then God is also saying guard His Sabbaths. I am. We have your Elohim right here. So God is in control. He's over mother and father. Mother and father have to obey God as well. So it's like showing that God is our parent. So in honoring your mother and father, you're also going to honor God because He's given that commandment. And then also you just want to make sure you know what the Sabbath is, what God requires to be done on it, and you know how He views it from the New Testament as well, and just go from there. So you want to know Scripture, and then again you just want to have that respect for your mom and your dad, not disrespecting them, obeying them when they're telling you to do what's right, listening to them when they're correcting you, and then just striving to do your best. All right, you may not please your parents in every way possible. You may not be able to buy them a house or a car. Some things you just may not be able to accomplish in life, but being able to love them, doing the little things that count, keeping yourself clean, trying to be holy, making your parents look good by living your life well. Those things you can help to, respect your parents and show your love for them. So don't take that too lightly. Always respect your parents. Verse 15 of the same chapter. Well, not verse 15. We're going to go to verse 20. Alright. And when a man has intercourse with a woman who is a female servant, engaged to a man, and to be ransomed, but she has not been ransomed nor set free, there should be an inquiry, but they are not put to death, because she was not free. Alright. This just goes to show here, back in these times back here, women had a little bit of control over their independence, their freedom. They're saying who to marry and who to sleep with. All right, a lot of it was controlled by those who, their masters, who had them, who hired them as servants or purchased them as servants, and then their dads, who they gave them to marriage and things like that. And then you got a lot of guys back then who were just trying to take women who they thought were beautiful and just sleep with them, princes, sovereigns, and things like that. So the key here, the day and age we live in now, a lot of women have that opportunity to be independent, to be able to choose where you want to work, to choose what schools you go to, and things like that, to choose if you want to be successful in the world that way, to choose if you want to have this religion and things like that. There's things you can go to be maids and servants and things like that, but it's your choice now. So women, you have a choice now. Just make the best choices for your life, being able to make yourself independent. And then if you're not able to get your own home and things like that, just know your capabilities. Be content with what you have. Don't try to overdo it and go get too much. Try to get too much money and then you burn yourself out. You get too tired. Be real with yourself. Know your capabilities. Look at people that are in those positions. If you want to go to the WNBA, look at the size of the players that's there now. Look how hard they work. Are you able to keep up consistently with their work ethic? Think about that. And then if not, make sure you got a good backup plan. All right. It's not a bad thing that some women who take. Let's say for example, you get a job in high school. You're working at McDonald's. All right, let's say you've been there all throughout high school. You got promoted. You're a manager now. You're the store manager. You're running that whole store. All right, the money you're making is pretty decent if you manage it right and not wasting it on the things that you don't truly need. All right, if you manage your money right, you taking care of yourself. You got a place to live. You balancing things. You're not overdoing it, overspending, and things like that. I mean, is it not enough money to take care of yourself? I know things are getting higher and more costly, but there's ways that you can, live comfortably, just without, going after all those things that you truly want. Some things you don't need. All right. So that's just key there. As we flip over here, I believe this is the same chapter. We're gonna start at verse 28, and it says, "Do not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor put tattoo marks on you. I am," and we have the name of God right there. "Do not profane your daughter by making her a whore, so that the land does not whore, and the land becomes filled with wickedness." All right, that's gonna be key right there as well. All right. First off, putting cuttings in your flesh. All right, for the dead. All right. There's some people that do cut themselves, when someone passes away, or they get into that dark place. Sometimes they start cutting themselves and things like that. Some people try to label it as a disorder and things like that. But really, they may be doing it for some reason where they can't control it and not do it. You don't want to cut yourself, all right, in any matter of way. Sometimes some people get cut on accident and things like that. And this means that you need to take extra precaution when handling sharp objects, knives, and all types of weapons. So if they're out just about and you're able to put it away, or get rid of them, just do that. All right. You want to look out for yourself and others. So it could be people out there, kids that may be around sharp objects and things. You just want to put it out the way. If you're out on the sidewalk and it's something that could be prevented, or you're in a park playground and you see something sharp, and kids are going to be there. All right, you could do good by removing them things out the way. You could throw it in a nearby trash can or things like that. All right, that's cool. And then also, nor put tattoo marks on you. I am, we have the name of God right there. This is pretty much simple. A lot of people have their excuses as to why they got tattoos and they're not following this verse. Some people do not know it. Others, it's just a gift of art. This is what they're good at, and this is what they're going to do. And like I said, God has made people for good and evil, and then those who are evil, they go against his word, his commandments, and his laws. All right. Some people make a practice and a living of doing it. Your favorite professional athlete, or billionaire, or whatever, singer, music artist, they may have a tattoo. All right. So knowing that and knowing your scripture, does that align with your views and your religion? All right. Is that tattoo going to stop you from following what God has told you to do? Are you going to go get a tattoo? Are you going to follow the trend? Or are you going to follow the crowd? Are you going to be tempted into doing that? All right. So if you don't have tattoos, I recommend staying that way. This will help you follow this scripture automatically, and then you have to worry about that if you don't have no cuts. Some people, like I said, for example, they may be playing football and they probably get tackled and land on a cut bottle. A glass bottle was broken and got into the field. It's not their fault. They probably got cut that way. That's an accident. So just ask for forgiveness. All right. But again, you want to take precautions to make sure it's nothing in the field that would cause you to get cut. All right. Check the playgrounds. All right. Before you play basketball, look on the ground and make sure there's no glass, no nails, or things like that, because that can make a cut in your body, stepping on a nail and things like that. So if you're walking barefoot, pay attention to your surroundings, making sure that you're not going to get cut. And then tattoos is simple, all right? You don't want to draw on your body either. You don't want to put any marks on your body, all right? Ink and all that, all right? It's right here in scripture. You can read it yourself. It's not coming from me. But again, if you don't have no tattoos, you're able to look more holy. You're able to present yourself. Now, if you already have tattoos, and I know you want to hear this, if you already have tattoos, you just now finding out about this and things like that, you can be forgiven for it. I just recommend you ask God. You go to God for it. You know that you have forgiveness. You have to have faith that you have forgiveness and continue to live your life accordingly. But I wouldn't go back and get more tattoos. Now, knowing that he doesn't want you to put tattoo marks on you, knowing that who he is and he said it, just don't do it anymore. And then I highly recommend maybe someone who's seen that your life has changed. You're not getting tattoos anymore. You're living your life right. Maybe they want to start dating you. Maybe you're male or female, whatever. Date someone who has tattoos, and then that way people won't know what you believe in or what you're about. They have to actually get to know you to see that you've changed, or to see your story behind why you got it. I ask people why they got tattoos a lot, and I hear their story. Sometimes it's for like a relative and things like that. Hey, that's them, all right? I'm just giving you my personal experience. But as we move on, I don't want to talk too much about that. get y'all off this category, but it's good to just be able to just to share those type of experiences with these verses, and it just kind of help you apply it to your life. Do not profane your daughter by making her a whore. This is gonna be key as well. Sometimes you may have had a daughter by accident. You know, you didn't want a kid, but you just found out your girl was pregnant after one night, and now you got a daughter now, and you don't know what to do, how you gonna make money, and things like that. And then maybe you ain't into it with some dudes where they probably want you to be homosexual, but you want to use your daughter, just like in the Old Testament where those guys that came to the home of Lot and asked about the men, and he recommended his daughters who were virgins and things like that. So don't make your daughter a whore. All right, don't have her sleep with men that you're into it with or owe money to, or just don't have her around a lot of dudes like that are just that aggressively horny. All right, that's gonna be key, so that the land is not whore. All right, you don't want everybody that's on the land to do it. Your daughter is that important. All right, if you got a daughter that's living holy and you training her to live holy, a lot of girls are gonna follow along with that. And then, if they're jealous or things like that, it's probably they want to know how, or they wish they had a dad that taught them how to live holy, or told them, or a mother that told them how to live holy and things like that. So, how you live your life is important, and the land becomes filled with wickedness. So, because of whoring, all right, see what happens, all right, so that the land does not whore and the land becomes filled with wickedness. So, just because of your daughter, all right, these things can happen. One person, all right. So again, to stop wickedness within the land, all right, and to stop others in the land from becoming whores and start that, all right, don't profane your daughter. So if you have a daughter, just make sure that you making sure that you living holy with her, teaching her how to live holy, and you're not making them whores, all right? And then that's gonna help them be better suited to being wives and things like that. It's gonna be able to, preserve that virginity and allow them to, make a loving commitment once it's time for that. All right, so we're gonna go to chapter 20. We're gonna read a few verses in here. Starting at verse 9. For everyone who curses his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother, his blood is on him. And a man who commits adultery with the wife of another man, who commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, the adulterer and the adulteress shall certainly be put to death. And a man who lies with the wife of his father has uncovered the nakedness of his father. Both of them shall certainly be put to death, their blood is upon them. And a man who lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall certainly be put to death. They have made confusion, their blood is upon them. And a man who lies with a male as he lies with a woman, both of them have done an abomination. They shall certainly be put to death, their blood is upon them. And a man who marries a woman and her mother, it is wickedness. They are burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness in your midst. Alright, and the man who has intercourse with a beast, he shall certainly be put to death, and the beast you kill. Alright, we're going to wrap it up right there. Verse 16, we're going to start the next series. But as you can see here, just like in the last series, 37, I believe, it just talks about these same curses, alright? Cursing your father and mother, alright? You want to respect your mother, you want to respect your dad. So you don't want your blood to be upon them. And then these other situations here just talks about how you can be put to death, alright? Adultery. Alright, both the man and the woman, the adulteress and the adulterer. So the woman, if you know you're married and you getting involved with it, and then the man has to know that you're married, alright? That's how you commit adultery. Now, if you do it unknowingly, the woman is going to be responsible for that. But still, you just want to make sure you know what you're getting into before what you get involved in. So if it's a married man, that's a no-no off top. But if you didn't know, ask for forgiveness and get out of that, alright? And then again, sons-in-laws, father-in-laws, and things like that. You don't want to get into any type of situation where you're unclothed or naked with your close relatives. All right, a lot of these back then, they were getting put to death by then, and suffered many sins. So Just take a look at that. We'll get some key points out. But other than that, God bless.